Ward 3 for City Council, Mr. Jason Moore and Ms. Rita Heido. Again, we'll start with our introductory remarks, and then some questions, and then we'll sum it up at the end. Mr. Moore. Too many Jasons around here. Mr. Moore, we're going to start with you for your introductory comments.
Okay, thank you. My name is Jason Moore. I live at 122 Cedar Street. My wife and I lived in the 3rd Ward for 15 years, and we own Big Blue Rentals on West Court Street. I've been the councilman now for 4 years, and it has been one of the biggest honors that I've ever had. I've learned so much being a councilman for the 3rd Ward. I feel like every time that I come up here and I sit up here, I represent the 3rd Ward. I really strive to do my best and help out with everybody who has an issue, and I really think I do a good job in representing them. The last 4 years, I've worked pretty hard, got an ordinance passed, helped with an ordinance for keeping sex offenders away from city parks and schools and daycares, excuse me, and tried getting alcohol, keeping alcohol out of the parks, and I've voted many times against utility rate increases. I hope that everybody will see fit to consider me in November.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Mrs. Heido, your opening remarks.
Oh, I'm Rita Heido. I live at 208 Sherman. I have been here in Beatrice for 36 years. My husband, John, and I bought a business here, Lamel Plumbing, and it was a family business when we bought it. It still is a family business. Our children, Dana, Todd, and my daughter-in-law, Sonny, work with us. Got a couple of grandkids, Tessa and Trent. I'm also a sister, an aunt, a niece, a friend. I'm a neighbor. I'm a caregiver. And most importantly, I'm a volunteer. And I feel very strongly about giving back to a community that has given us so much, a great place to raise our family. I need your vote by November 6th, on November 6th. I would like to make a difference. I think one of the most important things as a city councilman you can do is listen to people and then reflect what you're hearing. And we are the face of Beatrice for a lot of people. So I do think that is very important. I'm a great listener. I've been on planning and zoning for 15 years. I'm currently on the Beatrice Humane Society board. I spent 2 terms on the Chamber of Commerce board. I know how to work with budgets. I know how to work with people. I know how to compromise. And I think I would be a great city councilman. So again, please vote for me by November 6th. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Heido, and you get the first question. What is your number 1 priority program or project, and how would you pay for it?
If this was a perfect world and the budget didn't look the way the budget does right now, I would like to see the highway moved through downtown, and I would like to see that bypass. I think it would really improve our downtown. It would give us the opportunity to revitalize downtown. I think it would get those doggone smelly trucks off of the main street and backing up the traffic at the traffic lights. I think it would stop that intersection on 6th and Court Street from people backing up because there's a truck turning on it. So that would be a great thing. I don't think right now we can afford to do that. But in a perfect world, that would be my wish.
Thank you, Mrs. Heido. Mr. Moore, what would be your number 1 priority program or project, and how would you find the funding for it?
Okay. I look at downtown and I see open businesses and open windows. And I look at it and I think, when a business comes through or somebody comes through town and they look at Beatrice and they think, maybe this is a place for us to settle down. And they see open windows and it may set a bad impression of Beatrice for having so many businesses open downtown. What I would like to see is I would like to see the city use LB 840 funds, which are funds set up for economic development. I would like to see businesses, buildings downtown, dilapidated structures or negligent owners be approached and buildings be bought. LB 840 funds be used to renovate the buildings, fix them up, get them with clean walls, get them looking nice from the outside, and sell the buildings. I think that this is something that we can do to sell the money, take the money back into our LB 840 funds. And if we can do this, even if we can do a few here and there, it's something that we can do to set a good image of downtown Beatrice.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Mr. Moore, we're going to hit you with the next question. Okay. Economic development is always, or it seems to always be, a topic of discussion and debate with the city. In your opinion, what should be the role of the city in funding economic development using tax dollars?
Okay. Right now, the city uses LB 840 funds, again, which are set aside for economic development. I feel that in order for our community to grow, we have to be as proactive as possible, going out and looking for businesses. We have the new group, Engage, and I think they're going to do a wonderful job, and the city is working jointly with the county to support them. I feel that the money that we're using comes from LB 840. Again, the money is set there for economic development. That's what it's for. It's supposed to entice or help a business, get them so that if there's something they need to come to Beatrice, they can. And unfortunately, in the world we live in today, there are businesses that do come to cities that provide a package, provide a what can you do for me to get me to come to you. The funds for the LB 840, that's what they can be used for. They can bring businesses to Beatrice.
Thank you. Mrs. Heido, same question. Economic development seems to be a topic of discussion and debate from time to time and consistently at the city. In your opinion, what should be the role of the city in funding economic development using tax dollars?
I think we have to. Businesses employ people, and people buy groceries and pay taxes, and the circle continues and goes around. So I think it's very important for the city to use those funds that are set up by the state and perhaps create some of their own, use some of the community groups around town like the Chamber of Commerce, and develop a really strong program to attract people here using our great community background, schools, churches, small town living, and use those tax dollars very wisely and grow our town.
Thank you, Ms. Heido, and you get this question first. Would you address the appropriateness and/or safeguards for a council member to do business with the city of Beatrice? And would you do business with the city if elected?
Yeah, to answer the second part first, that seems to be the easiest. We have in the past, our business has done business with the city in the past, and so yes, we would. I do think there should be a policy. There should be something laid down so that absolutely bids are done blindly and without any special knowledge or a help up from insider information. I do think it's very important that there is no question of impropriety, so that I do think that there are maybe some more jobs and things that are done by council members that should be bid maybe a little more and definitely be open. And I think if we put that policy in place, I would have no problem with the city councilman or the mayor doing business with the town.
Thank you, Ms. Heido. Mr. Moore, the same question. Would you address the appropriateness and/or safeguards for a council member to do business with the city of Beatrice? And how have you, while you've been on the council, done business with the city?
Well, my wife and I own storage units, and so we haven't done any business with the city of Beatrice. But I have been very outspoken in the last 4 years about my opinion, both publicly and behind closed doors, about my opinion about councilmen working or doing business for the city. I don't care how legitimate it is. It doesn't look good. It never looks good, no matter how legitimate it is. It just sets a bad, it gives everybody a bad feeling. It makes people think that there's the possibility that something could go wrong. Something could be known. It just doesn't look good. And I don't care, the comment was made, in a city the size of Beatrice, you have to use whoever you can use. I don't feel that way, not when, no matter how honest the bids are, no matter how honest the work is done, in my opinion, it just doesn't set right.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Let's see here. Let's hit this question. And Mr. Moore, you get to start with this one. Is there a program, project, service, or department within the city that you feel needs significant changes, and if so, why?
Well, I don't know it needs significant changes. But one thing that I would like the opportunity to look at and see if there's a cost savings there is I would like to take a chance and see what merging our water department and our sewer department together would be like. I think the cost, the benefits would be we would be down to one superintendent, and whether we lose that by attrition or however it needs to happen, it's something to look at. We have two departments that could be put together. And I think it's something worth looking at. It would save us some funds. It would work. To me, I think the communication would be better. And I think any time that you can downsize government, I think that it's a good thing.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Mrs. Heido, the same question. Is there a program, project, service, or department within the city that you feel needs significant changes? And if so, why?
No. And why? Significant is the key word. I think they all need tweaking. We all need changes. We all need updating, and city is no different. There's constant changes and upgrades. Personnel come and go. People retire. Services have to be added. Services drop off. And so I think it changes all the time. But is it significant? I don't believe so. I think it's minor things that happen all the time, and I don't believe there are any huge, drastic things that need to be changed.
Thank you, Mrs. Heido. And we're out of time, and we've hit the questions that some of them that we hadn't covered and some of them we had. So let's go to our closing comments or remarks. And Mrs. Heido, you get to go first.
Folks, I am running on a very tight budget. I have decided that if I couldn't be careful with my money, how could you trust me to be careful with yours? So you won't see yard signs up and down the street, but I do realize that signs are important. I remember reading that somewhere. So here is my cockeyed idea. When you see a stop sign, please stop. But after you stop, you think, vote Rita Heido. And now pass that on, and you tell other people. So they're all over town. They're already paid for. I don't have to take them down when this is all done. And when you see a stop sign, hopefully now, after hearing this, you're going to think, vote Rita Heido. And then by being careful with my dollars, hopefully you'll think I will be careful with your dollars, and you will give me that vote by November 6th. I would like to make a difference. I'm a good listener. I'm a good compromise person, and I would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Heido. Mr. Moore, your closing remarks.
Well, over the last month, I've walked the ward, and I did it 4 years ago. I knocked on just about everybody's door. I explained who I was and what I was doing. I started a month ago, and I'm about 90% done from walking the ward again. I've found a lot of people that have been very, very receptive, and they know that when what they get with me is somebody who doesn't just go with the flow. I ask why. When I think something's wrong, I make a point to point it out. I want to know why things happen, and I think that I'm a very reliable person. I get a lot of phone calls from people, and they have an issue or they have a question. I work with them, go to the city administrator, and no matter what it is, I get back to them, and hopefully we can solve their problem. And hopefully between myself and the citizen, we've really worked well together. I've been proud to be your councilman, and I would appreciate your consideration on November 6th.
Thank you, Mr. Moore, and Mrs. Heido, thank you for coming tonight and putting up with me and some of the, I realize some of them were pointed questions. Again, we're going to take another couple-minute break. We have one more ward of 2 candidates, and once again, if you don't vote, you don't get a voice, so please go out and vote.